Microsoft seems to have developed this strange habit wherein devices that they are no longer really supporting, devices that may be literally canceled, do occasionally appear in all forms of media. We have seen the canceled Surface Neo appear in that Netflix movie, I believe was called Red Notice. It had Ryan Reynolds in it. Neo popped up in that. We've seen Surface Duo appear in some show with Tina Fey on Hulu. We've also seen Surface Duo appear on an Amazon Prime show, which also has a name that is escaping me. And most recently, we've seen Duo 2 appear in two more movies. Renfield, which I believe is some sort of vampire movie with Nicolas Cage, and also another movie or show. Is this a movie or a show? Let's look at this. This was a tweet sent to me by Carlos Cruz. Yes, a movie, Extraction 2 on Netflix, and this is rotated, obviously, this photo, but you can see there's Duo 2 present in that movie as well. What I wanted to do here is kind of demystify this a little bit. Because every time this happens, a Duo or a Neo pops up in a movie or a TV show, a lot of people get very excited and they think, wow, this is a sign of life from the Surface team. Duo, Neo, whatever it might be, is still coming. It's still being worked on. It's not been deprioritized like we've all thought. And I kind of want to dig into this a little bit and explain what's going on in these instances. So since I've already talked about Neo in that Netflix movie Red Notice and Surface Duo, I believe the show was called Only Murders in the Building or something like that. I've already talked about both of these, so I'm going to just skip past them. I've already explained these away. We're just going to jump ahead and talk about Duo 2 in Renfield and Duo 2 in, this movie's name has already escaped me again, Extraction 2. And there's a really simple method you can employ to figure these sorts of things out. So let's go to the lovely website known as google.com, and we're going to search for Renfield Wikipedia. We're going to click on that, and then we're going to scroll down. Is there some sort of a, here we go. Filming. Let's go to filming. Filming began in New Orleans on February 3rd, 2022. So February 3rd, 2022, they are filming this film. Filming wrapped April 14th, 2022. So between February and April, this movie was filmed. What does that mean? Well, let's go to the Surface Duo to update history, and let's go to April of 2022. And what do we have? A security patch. March was another security patch. February, though, was a substantial update. But what's more important than just these 3 months while the film was being filmed is what happened after that. Let's jump ahead a little bit. What was July? Hey, that was a fairly substantial update. June was a really big update, okay? What about in August? What a time to be alive. 3 months of substantial updates in a row. And then I believe, was it October, was Android 12L. So what does this mean? What am I getting at? When this was happening, when this product placement was being done, which I'm assuming Microsoft probably paid them to do or did something to have this happen. They had to have some intentionality here. Hey, put this in your movie. Duo 2 had not yet been deprioritized in the way that it would be in the months following this. And this also tells you that sometimes the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. They may have known, someone in Microsoft may have known that, hey, some things were coming down the line and Duo was going to get pushed down, but maybe the people responsible for like PR type stuff didn't necessarily know that. Or maybe Duo being deprioritized kind of caught everyone off guard. The layoffs that happened with Microsoft, it caused them to lean into things that made them money and lean away from things like Surface Duo that don't make them money. They didn't know about that stuff yet. So they were still pushing Duo 2, so they wanted to have it in a movie. Makes absolute total sense. And it also goes back to something I've talked about before, when people have come into my comments for the past 2 years and told me that Duo was dead or that Microsoft wasn't going to support it anymore. You can make a pretty good argument that up until that point, up until these updates had stopped, up until the layoffs happened, Microsoft was so much behind this device, they were putting it into movies. What we've seen over the last 6 months was not the plan. So when I hear things about what's going on, what the plans currently are, and I bring them to you guys or other reporters like Zach, I just called myself a reporter, which feels weird, but at any rate, people like Zach at Windows Central, when they bring this stuff to you guys and say, this is what's going on, these are the plans, that doesn't mean plans can't change. And if they do change, that doesn't mean Zach was wrong. That doesn't mean I was wrong. It means that plans changed. You probably guessed where this is going, but let's go to Extraction 2 and let's go down to filming again. COVID pushed things back, but then they began filming November 2021. They were done February 14th. I don't need to go over this again. The exact same things apply to Extraction 2. This phone is in these movies because at that time, Duo 2 was still important. Things that happened later. So guys, hopefully that explains a little bit about what's going on when these product placements have occurred. I think it's often that we underestimate how long it takes a movie to actually go from we're shooting to it's on our screens, whether it's our TV screens or computer screens or the screens inside movie theaters. It takes a long time. So sometimes they do these product placements with the best of intentions, and by the time the movie comes out, the plans have changed, and it looks really weird to see that device in the movie, in particular over the last few years, because there was this little thing called COVID that slowed production down for a lot of these movies, and that is what we're seeing, artifacts of that with Surface Duo and Surface Neo involved. I do want to say thanks to everybody that sent me images and information about these things, because I almost never watch TV or movies at all these days, so I would not have been aware of these if it were not for people like Carlos Cruz here, who sent me this tweet, and of course I think a bunch of people sent me the Renfield stuff. Apologies that I cannot remember specifically who this was, because it was several weeks back at this point. But at any rate, guys, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'll see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.